Hello and welcome to Insights. My name is Ismail Idris. Now, is William Ruto reading from the late Daniel Arap Moi's Playbook? Theories backed with concrete evidence began circulating around linking Ruto's political tactics to that of Moi. What sparked this particular subject was how President Ruto applied contentious policies tailored to subdue political dissent and try to quell the Gen Z insurgency. Just to give you the context, Toroitich Arap Moi, whose tenure lasted from 1978 to 2002, was known for his autocratic style of governance, characterized by iron-fisted rule. William Ruto and the late Moi had a political relationship that persisted over time. As we all know, Ruto began his political career in the late 1980s and early 1990s. During this time, Daniel Moi was the president of Kenya. Ruto was initially associated with Moi's Kenya African National Union, which was the dominant party under Moi's rule. Furthermore, their relationship was effectively solidified by the YK92 movement. The YK92 was a political organization formed during the early 1990s to support President Daniel Moi and his KANU party in the 1992 general elections. And guess who was the key figure in this organization? You guessed it right, William Ruto. Therefore, it would be plausible to draw a definitive conclusion about Moi's influence on Ruto's political career. However, what similarities can we extract from the two? Deployment of the military. During Daniel Moi's dispensation, there were several instances where heavy military involvement played a significant role in the country's affairs. For instance, the Operation Justify of 1997. This particular operation was aimed to suppress opposition and maintain Moi's grip on power. This operation included the deployment of troops to manage and contain opposition activities. Now, during the recent Gen Z protests that proved a tough nut to crack for Ruto, we witnessed heavy deployment of KDF military in the streets of Nairobi. Some analysts hold the view that the deployment of the military was a knee-jerk reaction by Ruto to hastily suppress the demonstrations. Number 2. Abductions and arrests. During Daniel Arap Moi's presidency in Kenya, there were several documented cases of abductions and disappearances, often involving political opponents, activists, and critics of the government. For instance, Raila Odinga was a leading figure in the opposition and a prominent critic of Moi's regime. His political activism, calls for democratic reforms, puts him at odds with the government. Following the attempted coup in August 1982, which was primarily a military mutiny rather than a fully fledged coup attempt, Raila was arrested and detained without trial. He was accused of being involved in or sympathetic to the coup plotters, although there were no substantive evidence against him. Others who were arrested involved the likes of Kenneth Matiba and Charles Rubia, who were also critics of Moi's regime. Similarly, Ruto's regime carried out several abductions during the Gen Z protests. At this time, the government was clutching at each straw to uncover the leader and financier of the Gen Z movement. For instance, the recent nighttime abduction of a social media influencer, Shadrach Kiprono, recorded live on CCTV. He was thought to have been involved in marshalling the youth against the government. Billy Simani, also known as Billy the Goat, was one of the social media influencers who were also abducted but later released. Boniface Mwangi, an activist, has undergone several arrests during the surge in the Gen Z maandamanos and was released several times. On balance, we wouldn't know definitively if Ruto borrowed a leaf or, let's say, borrowed pages from Daniel Moi's tactical book. However, going forward, it will be interesting to see what other tactics Ruto will employ in the coming days, and we will be sure to highlight them here in this show.